It was an arm wrestle and it was nerve-wracking, but Leinster have been crowned Champions Cup winners for the 2017-18 season after securing a 15-12 victory over Racing 92 at the San Mamés Stadium in Bilbao. A late Issa penalty nudged Leinster in front and Racing tried to muster up a late drop goal, but it went wide. Here are our Leinster player ratings from an absorbing 80 minutes. 15. Rob Kearney. 7. In the wet conditions, Leinster needed a man who would be assured under the high ball, and they don't come much better than Rob Kearney. Competed well in the air and offered safety at the back. 14. Jordan Larmour. 6. Struggled to get into the game in the first half, and this trend continued in the second 40. 13. Gary Ringrose. 7. Conceded a penalty at the beginning of the match for a high tackle on Virimi Vakatawa, which the excellent Teddy Irabaran kicked with ease. Didn't get much yardage, but he made a hell of a lot of carries throughout the game. Missed 2 tackles. 12. Robbie Henshaw. 6. Had a very quiet opening 40 minutes which saw him get little time on the ball, but he did make some important tackles to keep the large Racing ball carriers at bay. 11. Issa Nasewa. 6. Good battle with Teddy Thomas. Mistake at the beginning of the second half when he kicked the ball out on the full, and he did the same 10 minutes later as Racing began to fluster their opponents. However, he stepped up at the end of the game to kick 2 penalties to put Leinster out of reach. 10. Johnny Sexton. 7. Superb play with Leinster's first major line break. Kicked 2 penalties in the first half, but also made some bad decisions, including a quick tap which quickly resulted in a turnover in the first half. Fluffed an early penalty chance in the second half, but got it back together to level matters minutes later. A disjointed performance, much like the game in total. 9. Luke McGrath. 7. Had a decent game. Box kicked you well with some good exits when Racing were putting on serious pressure. Kept the ball moving for Leinster and did well considering he wasn't fully fit for this game. 1. Cian Healy. 7. A huge shift for the 55 minutes he was on the pitch. Made 8 bruising carries and didn't miss tackle. Contributed to a decent scrum effort too. 2. Sean Cronin. 7. Put in a huge defensive effort with 7 tackles and none missed. Coped well for the most part with his darts when you consider the conditions and the pressure being put on by the Racing forwards. 3. Tadhg Furlong. 6. Not the game we expect from Furlong as he was quiet in terms of his carrying. Tackled well throughout and like his front row partners, contributed to a decent scrum effort. 4. Devin Toner. 7. Gave away a penalty when making contact with Donasha Ryan in the air in the opening quarter of the game. Made a good amount of tackles and made some big carries to help get his side on the front foot. 5. James Ryan. 9. Typical disregard for his own well-being as he threw himself into rucks time and time again. Made 8 carries in the first half. Was at the fore again in the second half and he showed some lovely hands to hold on to a slippy ball. Forced a huge turnover in the second half as he got off the line quickly to force the opposition ball carrier into spilling the ball. 6. Scott Fardy. 6. Discipline was an issue in the first half as he was pinged for collapsing a maul after 22 minutes. Pinged again for a neck roll on a Racing 92 player at the rep towards the end of the opening 40 minutes. Brought a huge level of physicality throughout the game which was needed against this French team. 7. Don Leviate always seemed to gain a yard or two with his excellent carries. Like his former street Michael's schoolmate James Ryan Levy showed complete disregard for his body as he threw himself at racing players throughout the game. 8. Geordie Murphy 7. Geordie Murphy did much of the unseen work throughout this bruising encounter, often carrying and tackling around the tight exchanges. 100% tackle completion rate in a game that was dominated by the forwards. Substitutes: Jack McGrath 6, James Tracy, N.A. Jack Honan, N.A. Jamieson Gibson Park, N.A. Andrew Porter, N.A.